Hey everyone, and welcome. If you're prepping for the Ssc Mts exam, then you're going to want to stick around for the next few minutes. We're about to break down the first shift from February 6th, and trust me, we've found some patterns that could give you a serious edge. We'll wrap it all up with a focused checklist for your final prep. Let's dive right in. So, what's the big deal with this first paper? What's it really telling us? We've gone through the questions with a fine-tooth comb to spot the trends, the surprises, and the things that can really help you out. Let's get into the key takeaways. All right, so here's the 30,000-foot view. Mughal history? Yep, still a huge deal. You gotta know it. But here's the curveball. Chemistry decided to show up to the party. Static GK? Well, that was the tough one for a lot of people. No surprise there. Meanwhile, economics and polity kinda stuck to the script with topics we all expected. Now, let's break each of these down with some actual questions from the exam. First up, let's talk history and polity. These sections usually follow some pretty clear patterns, and honestly, this exam was no different. Let's see where you can snag some easy marks. I mean, listen to this. The analysis from our sources could not be more clear. Mughal architecture isn't just a friendly suggestion, it's a theme that pops up in literally every single shift. This makes it a total non-negotiable for your revision. Seriously. And hey, just to show you what we mean, here's a question pulled straight from the paper that tests that exact knowledge. What do you think? You got this one? Yep, it's Shah Jahan. And this just hammers the point home, right? They have a laser focus on things built during the Mughal era. So the takeaway is simple. When you see Mughal, your brain should immediately think architecture. Okay, so it wasn't all about the Mughals. The exam also reached way back into ancient history, getting into the Mauryan Empire with this question right here. And there you have it, Chandragupta Maurya. So what does that tell you? It tells you that the Mauryan and Gupta periods are still core foundational topics. You just have to know them. All right, let's talk polity. And the key word here, specificity. They weren't asking about broad, general concepts. No, they were drilling down into the exact constitutional articles, the ones that define how power works. The answer is Article 61. See what I mean? A vague, surface-level understanding just isn't going to cut it. You've got to know the specific articles for major processes like this one. Next up, let's get into economics and science. And here, we saw a mix of the expected and the unexpected. Economics stuck to the familiar stuff, but science decided to throw us a bit of a curveball. You know, this is a classic kind of question. It blends a little economics with some general knowledge. It's really just checking if you're aware of India's major public companies and the timeline of how the country developed. That's right, 1956. And that year isn't just random, you know? It falls right in the middle of India's second five-year plan, which was all about industrialization. See, it all connects. Now, okay, this is where things get really interesting. For several exams in a row, the science questions were pretty predictable. But this paper, it totally broke the pattern. Let me show you how. So look at this. It's pretty simple. On one side, you've got what we're used to seeing, biology, especially questions about the human body, the lungs, the heart. That's been a constant. But on the other side is the new focus, chemistry. 2 questions came directly from the periodic table. That's a huge signal, people. It's a clear sign you need to add basic chemistry to your study list for sure. Okay, deep breaths, everyone. We're now heading into the section that, based on our analysis, was the toughest nut to crack for most students, static general knowledge. This is where things can get, well, a little wild. I mean, just look at the sheer range here. They asked about the exact weight of a coin. Can you believe it? Then they jumped to a religious festival in Karnataka, a famous autobiography, how many times the ISS circles the Earth, and even cricket terminology. This section is all over the map, which means your general knowledge really has to be broad. So, after all that, you're probably thinking, okay, so what do I do with all this information? Well, that's exactly what this final section is for. We've put together an actionable, no-nonsense checklist based on the patterns we just went over. For history, your priorities are super clear. Number 1, top of the list, Mughal art and architecture. You have to know it. Next, make sure you've locked down the Mauryan and Gupta empires. And hey, since Buddhism was a recent topic, it's a safe bet that Jainism might be coming up next. For modern history, just zero in on those key events between 1885 and 1947. Moving on to polity and economics, the game plan here is also really straightforward. In polity, focus on the key articles and the recent amendments, especially anything numbered 100 or higher. In economics, your high-yield topics are still the 5-year plans and anything related to the banking sector. And finally, for science and static GK. For science, keep studying the human body, but now, and this is non-negotiable, you absolutely have to revise the periodic table. As for that tricky static GK section, your best bet is to focus on high-frequency topics like festivals, folk dances, and sports terms. And definitely review past questions on books and authors. So, there you have it. This analysis is basically a roadmap to where the exam is heading. The real question for you is, how are you going to use these insights to get ready for the next surprise and stay one step ahead of everyone else?